Sibling Rivalry. Once upon a time, there was a little boy named Malcolm. Malcolm was the son of Jimmy and Jamie Allen. He lived at home with his mom and dad in the once prosperous city of Detroit, Michigan. Because his mother was unemployed at the time, Malcolm would often spend a lot of time with her. He and his mother were inseparable. When Malcolm was 4 years old, his parents told him that he was going to have a new baby brother. Malcolm was excited that he finally got to be a big brother. 9 months later, Jackson was born and all seemed well. Shortly after Jackson's birth, Malcolm could tell that he was not getting as much attention as he used to. He soon realized that this was because of Jackson. Mom and Dad were too busy with Jackson to even realize that Malcolm was having issues with his baby brother. Malcolm began to form feelings of animosity towards Jackson. Before Jackson came along, Malcolm was living it up. Family vacations were a part of the normal routine for the Allen family, but that all changed when Jackson was born. Malcolm's life was completely flipped upside down. As hard as he tried, Malcolm could not reach his parents. He would often act out for attention, but nothing seemed to be working. Even a while after Jackson was born, Malcolm's cold feelings had not changed. Malcolm's dad had become concerned with Malcolm, and he was wondering what was wrong. Malcolm would almost never agree to play with Jackson, and when he did, he always ended up making Jackson cry. He was always putting Jackson down, and there was a lot of name-calling. Malcolm would often wonder if it was okay to be himself, because all the attention from his parents was going to Jackson and not him. He was going through a stage of doubt. Malcolm would sometimes hit Jackson, and his parents would yell at him. Malcolm eventually stopped hitting Jackson because he did not want to get in trouble from his parents, and he knew it was wrong. Malcolm was affected by sibling rivalry because he felt like Jackson was taking away from his identity as he was getting all the attention, so a rivalry was formed. Even a few years later, Malcolm had a hard time understanding where he fit into the family. Not only did this affect his family life, but it also affected his school life. By the time Jackson had started school, the competition already had set in. In school, Malcolm would often cheat on his assignments and tests because he wanted to look better than Jackson to his parents. He was unfairly getting good grades for a bad cause. The rivalry even continued at recess. During recess, fun games of soccer between the kids often turned into a battle between Jackson and Malcolm. Sometimes they would even purposely trip each other to try to hurt one another to show off to their friends and classmates. As a result of this competition, both their cognitive development slowed down. Because of this continuous rivalry between them, they could not process what was going on around them. Malcolm had no idea what to do. Malcolm had become disconnected with the feeling of a tight family bond because of all the conflict. There was too much competition between him and Jackson, and he felt as if he couldn't be his own person. As a result of this, Malcolm was withdrawn from his classmates. He was not very social with the other kids in his class, and this concerned his parents and his teacher. He was awkward and quiet towards his other classmates, even when they asked him to play. Malcolm's teacher told Malcolm's parents that when he tried to approach him, he would give short and passive responses, as if he didn't care. Malcolm had little to no social interaction with people his age, which was quite unusual. At home, Jimmy and Jamie sat down with Malcolm and had to explain to him that they loved him just as much as they loved Jackson. This was necessary for them to do, otherwise Malcolm's condition would get worse, and they wanted to resolve it before he got older. Next time Malcolm saw Jackson, he gave him a big hug and told him he was sorry for all the mean things he had done to Jackson. Jackson lovingly accepted his apology. The rivalry between them was broken. A few years later, Malcolm got into high school, and he realized his family was about all he had. Because Malcolm was from a dangerous city, he had to rely on his family to keep him on the right path. Kids from high school would get into drugs and gangs, and they were hard 4 years. He loved Jackson. Their relationship had gotten much better from when they were kids. Had their sibling rivalry not been solved as children, Malcolm could have developed things such as not being able to hold a stable relationship, depression, awkward social situations, or feelings of being a social outcast. Years later, Malcolm ended up graduating from college with a degree in law. He became very successful, and he was the role model for Jackson. They loved each other so much.
Oh, yeah. It's not what you look like when you're doing what you're doing. It's what you're doing when you're doing what you look like you're doing. Express yourself.